Hello everybody, I'm Chris from Warcradle Studios. This is Stuart from Warcradle Studios.
Hello.
And we are here today to deliver some very exciting news.
Super exciting.
I'm very excited.
I could not be more excited. So, and that's quite a deadpan way of saying, but genuinely I am really excited. So there's been a lot of speculation and uncertainty with the collapse and the sad demise of Spartan Games. People have been wondering what's happening with Dystopian Wars, with Firestorm and all the other properties and things that they were developing. We're delighted to be able to confirm that Warcradle will be taking over the Dystopian Wars universes, the Firestorm universes, as well as Uncharted Seas universes as well. We're also going to be looking at developing our Scenics ranges to kind of expand and support those games, as well as Wild West Exodus. So very, very exciting times ahead of us. Certainly we're going to be quite busy in 2018, I would imagine.
Very.
That said, obviously, as exciting as that is, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions out there. I understand that some people have some unfinished business, and that with Rebel Publishing, who were the previous owners of Spartan Games. So what we want to do is, because we're hobbyists too, we've tried to work out what kind of questions, the most common questions that we can answer straight away for you. We're going to rattle through those, but obviously there's going to be lots of other questions that you're going to have. What we want you to do is put them in the comments below, and we will do everything we can to address them. We want to be as clear and transparent as we possibly can with you, because I just think if we can really be clear and on the same page with regard to where things are with the games and with the current situation, it means we can all go together and embrace what I hope is going to be a really exciting future for all of these games. So Chris, do you want to fire the first question?
Absolutely. First question is, have you purchased Rebel Publishing, the company that owns Spartan Games?
No. So what we have taken on board is, as I said, we're taking over the Dystopian Wars, or the Dystopian Universe, as Dystopian Wars, Dystopian Legions, Armoured Clash, all of those kind of related games and settings. We've also taken over the Firestorm setting, and we're looking at that. So that's Firestorm Armada, Firestorm Planetfall, but also the Task Force, the other quick play games and other things. Anything really relating to those two worlds. That's what we've taken over the kind of the visuals and the setting going forward. We're also looking at Uncharted Seas. We have that as well, and seeing what we can do with that, because again, I think it's quite a great idea. Fantasy naval stuff. Who doesn't like that? And we also have the Scenics. So a lot of the scenery pieces and the add-ons that had already been made. So we have those, but we're also then going to look to make use of that the technology and the resource there to make other interesting things. What we aren't doing though, we haven't purchased Rebel Publishing. So Rebel Publishing has gone into administration. Rebel Publishing is the parent company that owns Spartan Games. They are, as a business, that's still in administration, and so anybody that has anything relating to Rebel Publishing, so for example, say you back the Kickstarter that Rebel Publishing organised, or you have maybe you're a retail customer, you bought something through the Spartan Games website or anything like that, that business, that connection, that relationship still remains with Rebel Publishing.
That leads us nicely on to the next question. I back the Kickstarter, or I'm owed products from Rebel Publishing. How can I get them or my money back?
Yeah, look, I mean, there's no two ways about it. And whenever a company goes, it's unfortunate because customers, people that have invested money for various reasons, they're the ones that are going to lose out. There is some hope though for you, which is that you can follow up with your credit card companies or your PayPal companies or what have you, and try and get your pledges or your the money that you've paid through onto the web store or what have you. You can try and get that back. If you're having no joy there, or even if you are having joy there, but you still have other things that you want to go through with, you need to get in touch with Rebel Publishing through the administrators and see if there's any recourse to help you there. But if it were me, my first port of call would be to try and make sure I could get in touch with my payment provider and try and get a charge back or what have you. And I know a lot of you have done that already, which is great.
Super. So what about stock that Rebel Publishing held?
There wasn't a great deal of stock, if I'm honest. At this stage, I mean, it's very early in the process in terms of us getting to grips with what assets and things are there. What little stock there was, as I understand it, again, and you know, in some ways we only know as much as you do in terms of what people have said on Kickstarters and other bits and pieces, where we understand some of you got some miniatures sent out, which was great. In terms of stock and things that's come over to us, there isn't anything that we're going to be able to pass on there. If there is anything that we come across where it's very, very clearly been made for the Kickstarter, insofar as it's like there were some personalised rule books or something like that, of course we'll look at that, and if we can do something about that to kind of get them out to you, we'll get in touch with the Kickstarter backers directly to try and sort that out. We have no need to make that any more difficult than the current situation is going to be. So personalised items aside, in terms of any stock or anything else, there isn't anything that we're going to be able to sort out there. There isn't anything that I'm aware of that it's like a big container full of Ice Maidens or anything like that. That doesn't exist. So again, I think chargeback is going to be the best way going forward for you. I mean, we have no, we're not liable. We've taken on board the IP, and we really want to give a new and exciting home to the games. We aren't liable for anything that happened before, but at the same point, if there's something we can do to help, and if in regard to let's say like personalised rulebooks or something that we come across that absolutely we're gamers too, so we want to, if there's something we can do to help, of course we will. But as I say, if you're still holding out hope that somehow we're going to be able to, or that there is your pledges or something are sitting there waiting to go out to you, they're not. So please get in contact with your credit card companies and payment providers and try and get that money back.
So here's really the key question for me. Mm-hmm. Why purchase Dystopian Wars, Firestorm and Uncharted Seas?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So we have Wild West Exodus, so we already, I would hope, have a thing for kind of steampunk, weird science type games. We love Dystopian Wars, and I mean, I can only speak for myself in the studio, so I have a Republic of France fleet for Dystopian Wars. I have a large land army for the Republic for Armoured Clash. I even have a few bits and pieces for Dystopian Legions sculling around somewhere. And on top of that, love Firestorm. So I've got Ralph Thoza. I know Lee in the studio. He has the Directorate. There's loads of love for those kind of games there. I've even got a Shroud Mage fleet in a very dusty figure case from Uncharted Seas. So we really do love those games. We really do love the ideas, the potential that was there. And we were just as gutted as anybody when it looked like things were going south for Spartan. What this has let us do, though, is it's let us kind of almost come full circle on things. So back in the early days, Richard Lawford, who's the managing director, he's always been a big supporter of the Spartan games, and one of the things that he was very keen on us doing was, so when Dystopian Wars had one of its many original editions, I think it was a 1.1, it was a very early edition of Dystopian Wars, and what we did as a company, we purchased an entire print run, and we had that go out to every gaming club that we could track down. We sent a copy out to them. So hopefully some of you listening to this your gaming clubs have benefited from our kind of early support of Dystopian Wars in terms of getting free rulebooks out to people. And it was all over the world that these were sent. So what's quite nice about bringing these games now to their new home with us at Warcradle is in some ways it feels like a game or a series of games that we've always had that connection with, now coming almost into the family now and joining Wild West Exodus in what we hope is going to be a really exciting 2018.
So, what's going to happen to Dystopian and Firestorm Games?
That is the question. Look, it's very early days. We have some clear intentions with what we want to do. We're not going to dumb the games down or gut the games and turn them into something completely different. Dystopian Wars is a great game. Firestorm is a great game. They need some support, I think, through the studio. I think there's some stuff we can bring to them to make them even better. But fundamentally, they're great games, and we just want to make sure that other people can appreciate them sort of going forwards, and that they aren't going to vanish into an abyss somewhere, unless it's some kind of cool Firestorm sci-fi abyss.
And finally, will you be making any of the exclusive miniatures from the Kickstarter available?
Yeah, so there's going to be. We've added that question because Warcradle, we have a position that we take with regard to exclusives, which is different to how some other companies do them. And I'm not going to be, talking about how other companies do it. I can only talk about how we believe things should be done. So I get why exclusive miniatures are cool. I really do. But if you're not somebody that's lucky enough to get an exclusive miniature, they kind of suck because nobody else gets them. And then it becomes either something that you can brag about and lord it up, or else potentially they unbalance the game if they actually have their own unique rules, or more often than not, 99% of the times this is likely to happen, they end up on eBay going for insane amounts of money, which I don't think actually benefits the game in terms of growing and developing the game. So what we did with we do a promotional miniature each year, which we give away for free at shows and with other bits and pieces, but we accept that people aren't necessarily going to be able to see us at the shows. I mean, we did Gen Con, we've been to Adepticon, we did the UK Games Expo, we do Salute. So, we're not frightened of putting ourselves around in these shows, but I get that we've got lots of fans all over the world for Exodus and going forward for all of these games. So we'd want to make sure that any exclusives that we made, that there was some mechanism for people to get them. Now, one of the things we do is we work really closely with retail stores and our trade partners to make sure that they get free miniatures that they can give away. So we kind of filter it down to try and make sure that they get out there. But the miniatures that we do as a promotional miniature tends to only be for a year. That's how we believe things are at Warcradle. And then the miniature joins the main retail range the following year. So at the moment we have Rani Nimue, the ferocious privateer warrior. Now she is our promotional miniature in 2017. In 2018, quite early on in the year, she's going to move across and she'll be just available as a standard. There's nothing standard about a woman with a large trident fighting a big mechanical tentacle coming out of the water, but a commonly available miniature, which you'll be able to buy in your retail stores as normal. So it's exactly the same miniature as the one that was out as a promotional miniature this year. So there's always that chance for people to get hold of it. And what we hope is that means, I appreciate being able to get it right now is a premium to people, but it means we hope that because the miniature's not going to have a particularly elevated price point or anything, it will be priced similarly to a normal miniature for us. We hope that will keep the eBay scalping idea down to a minimum, because the miniature will have a retail value when it comes out. So that's the thing we do with our exclusives. There'll be a new exclusive miniature for 2018, and then the same process will be, and that miniature will then be available through retail in 2019, and so on and so on. So the question was about the Spartan exclusive. So obviously, there are some miniatures that were created for the Kickstarter that were either exclusive for the Kickstarter or were actually intended to come out later on, but as Spartan has, Rebel Publishing has gone into administration, all those plans are out the window. So what we are looking to do is we're looking at all those miniatures. We want to make sure that when we kind of bring the dystopian games back into the public, we want to make sure that those miniatures are part of those games. We will release those alongside the game as well, because some of them are really great miniatures. Why wouldn't we want people to be able to get hold of them? You know, I don't think it should be a secret, and like the last secret that that Spartan Games kind of takes down with it. I think they should be out there for people to enjoy. You know, if only as a kind of a to take some of the sting out of you know, the collapse from the Kickstarter. So yes, those miniatures will be out there. I can't give timescales in terms of saying, oh yeah, next week we're going to get them into production, because there's lots of factors we need to look into. But yes, they will be out. That is something we definitely want to get done. So like I said, just some questions there, hopefully giving you information that gets you as excited as we are. So what I'd like people to take away is that there's a really bright future for these games. They are going to be out there bigger and better than ever before. We're going to make sure that we're promoting them, that we're doing as much in terms of video, community support, interactive. I think we've been fairly decent on that with Wild West Exodus, and that, you know, we want to grow that and develop that and really get these games out to as many people as we can. For the community, for the loyal community of the games in the past, it'd be great to have you on board with us, to really to kind of work with us on that journey, to kind of make sure that you have more opponents, more new people to play against for the future, which can only be good for your own personal hobbies. Yeah, if you have any questions in the interim, comment in the video below. But you can also get in touch with us. We have regular Q&As. In the past, they've been about Wild West Exodus specifically. Going forward, we'll have some different Q&As. We'll do general Warcradle Q&As in which the questions can be about anything, or we might have specific ones over specific games if we've got something to talk about particularly interesting. Though of course everything that we talk about is interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, but yeah, by all means get in touch, and really look forward to hearing from you, and I'm really excited for what's to come.
Thanks guys.